2020 and my first trip for the season, a brand new decade. Today's gonna be a little different. It's not gonna be a backpacking trip. I'm gonna be hiking Pikes Peak. I have since relocated to the Denver area. I had been living out in Grand Junction, which allowed a lot of access to the desert, and a majority of my trips were taking place down there. So I'm excited to be checking out some new spots out here in the Front Range of Colorado. This will be my first 14er for the year, and I think my 29th overall. So I have done a lot of 14ers, but I have not filmed them all necessarily. So I turned off the paved road about a mile ago, and it said it's going to be about 3 miles. There is a gate there that's gonna be locked. I'm not quite sure how much more that's gonna add onto my route. From what I looked at and researched, the route today should be about 14 miles, and I think somewhere in the 4,300 to 4,700 feet of elevation gain. So Pikes Peak has two approaches really. One from the east, you take the bar trail. That route is extremely long and actually has the most elevation gain of any 14er route. It's, I think, 24 miles and you gain like 7,600 feet, which is really crazy and awesome actually. But today I'm not gonna be taking that eastern route. I'm taking the northwestern route. The sun is up. We are just in a canyon driving to this trailhead here. There is a little bit more snow expected than would have been on the east route. I made it to the trailhead and I'm heading out. The road was closed a little bit earlier than I thought. Looks like about 1.3 miles to the actual trailhead, which isn't the end of the world. It's a beautiful morning out here. Walking along this road. It is a little chilly still. It's at about 32 degrees. Got a nice creek along the road to start. So when I was reading trip reports for this route, people said it was pretty icy and snowy in spots. This is the northwest route, which doesn't get as much sun, obviously, as the east or the southern routes. I brought some snowshoes. First time I ever brought snowshoes on a 14er hike. I also do have some traction devices, kind of rubber things that fit over your shoe, and they have like a metal coil to cling on. And I do have my trekking poles, which I don't really bring all the time. I like to bring them on 14ers because there's just so much gain. They would actually benefit me on any backpack trips I do too, but I'm always carrying my camera on my tripod. I did have that camera in my car. I almost brought it. Would have been hanging on my neck here, and trekking poles and snowshoes. So it just kind of would have been a lot to do, I think. I decided to just go with the cell phone. And plus the upper part of this route is right next to the Pikes Peak Road. You're out of tree line, and not to say it's not scenic, but it's a road. Looks like we're gonna get to some snow and ice on the trail here. Again, when you're in the shade in the morning, it's gonna be really icy. And on the way down, it will be a little bit melted and slushy. And that's when you can post hole, which is where you sink through the snow, kind of to your ankle to your knee. Yesterday was in the high 80s in Denver, so even up here it had to get into the 50s or 60s. Froze up again maybe overnight. There's a woodpecker somewhere up here. Sounded like a tree creaking in the wind. It's actually a woodpecker. Another nice thing here's a disclaimer. I'm not opposed to off-road vehicles by any means, but I do appreciate the quiet and solitude of these hikes. This road does not allow access to quads, all-terrain vehicles, things like that, but it tends to be a little more quiet. Here's some birds, woodpecker so far. Got the creek to the left. Beautiful. Looks like the road walk's almost done. I can see the trailhead for the Crags Campground. That is the official trailhead I was going to start at. Just in case anybody's curious, I do have a mask in my pocket when I do see people to play it safe during these times. I'm taking it seriously with work and hiking as well in the outdoors. I made it to the Crags Devil's Playground Trailhead. This trailhead is normally jam-packed, but the gate was closed. Seasonally, should open Memorial Day weekend, but this is where my route officially starts. So we're gonna be heading up. This is the official start of the trail here. Got the trailhead behind us. And the sun is officially up on these ridges. Look at this guy over here. Pretty awesome. So, the sun is up, starting off down this trail and across the bridge. And up we go. So far it's been great. Beautiful forest here, switchbacks. So the trail has now become pretty iced over for the most part. There are parts that are ultimately unavoidable, like right here. All right, so I took a short break to put on my yak tracks. If I remember correctly, I used these before on something not as steep as a 14er, and the rubber fitting kept sliding around on the bottom and the coils kept moving around. We'll see if they stay on for me here, because it's pretty snowy now. This is kind of how it looks. So I just passed the first person I've seen on the trail. He summoned it at about 5:30 in the morning, but he kind of gave me a heads up on the trail conditions. Said it's pretty snowy, icy the whole way, so I'm glad I have my traction. I'll tell you though, these yak tracks, as you can see, already going haywire. Things coming off the sides. So I've been plugging away here, getting pretty toasty. Sun is out. The trail has been kind of looking like this, dirt with rocks and ice and snow, and these yak tracks are not staying on. This is generally what they've been doing. And even worse is they get to this point where those springs should be on the bottom. And because I'm going uphill, they just slide forward. I had this problem with these before and really need to invest in some micro spikes. Couldn't find any before this trip. This ice and snow walking is pretty difficult right now. It's all worth it though. I was looking up the trail towards the ridge and just looking around the views here, and when you turn around down trail, you got this guy behind you. Just pretty awesome. Those are some giant rocks, and there's actually a little window up in there. I gotta say it feels great getting out here though. I've done some hikes this year, and actually I bought some trail runners, which I'm gonna try out this season. But this is my first real hike getting out here. It's fantastic. This is looking west. And later today we're expecting some clouds. It said thunder by about 3 p.m. I am planning to get up and down before then. And that's looking up the ridge I need to go up. But I started way down in there. So I'm gaining the ridge here, going up that, just about at tree line. It's a little windy. Just ran into a couple down there, and they went to Devil's Playground, which is not quite the summit. He said that it was a little icy, a little snowy, so I kind of lost the trail down there for a minute or two in the snow, but not a big deal. I can pretty much see where I'm going. I do know that I'm gonna kind of go up onto that saddle. It's in the middle of the picture right there. Up on top of there should be Devil's Playground somewhere up in there. So I've reached tree line, and I've lost the trail. Not that it's a big deal. I'm going up there. So much snow up here. Just kind of beelining it up for now. Just trail was lost a few times in here, but I found it. Getting a little windy and chilly, and it looks like I'm making it up to Devil's Playground. Flattens out up here a little bit, and there is Pikes Peak. Just take a look at this though. Got up top here and some clouds coming in. Let's see if I can make the summit in an hour. It is 10 o'clock on the dot. It's really cool up here though, up on top of this flat. I'm craving for a snack. So I'm gonna be going straight ahead there, cut across there. The road to Pikes Peak is actually up there as well, and you can see it. Right now I got summit goals though. If you can see past those mountains there's some clouds coming, and this is the whole front coming. I'm gonna start to book it a little bit. Just glad I could get out today. I'm about 4.5 miles in, and it's been awesome. All right, it's a little windy, but I am getting there. Gateway of Stone, and the peak is just beyond that, but it is about 2.5 miles. And I've actually been seeing some cars going up the road up here to Pikes Peak. I guess the road is open for people who want to drive it, so Surprised it would be open just because of social distancing, and they're trying to make precautionary measures to keep people kind of out of the outdoors. I'm sure everybody has their opinion on the matter. The trail runs parallel along this road, a little bit further down here, but that snowbank is so steep I'm post-holing every step. We've now reached the tundra portion of this hike. Ooh, this looks like it could be kind of deep. Well, hiking along. There is the summit. Wondering if that summit shack's gonna be open. Get a glazed donut? That'd be wild. Now you can see the cars coming down there. So this is a view looking east towards Colorado Springs and Denver. And it is just socked in. Pretty cool. I haven't gotten a view to the east yet. Thought this water underneath this ice is pretty cool. So sometimes when you don't turn around, you miss out on some things. That was an awesome kind of eastern, southeastern facing piece of rock. Wouldn't have even known it. This is what the trail looks like. A little bit more snow free now that we're more exposed to the sun. Makes for a lot easier walking. The clouds are moving in. You can still see some peaks way out there. Not sure if those are the San Juans or the Sangre de Cristos. So I'm just gonna admit it. I greatly underestimated the distance we have left when I said that hopefully I'd make it to the summit by 11. It is 10:55. That is the summit. According to my calculations, I'd have 5 minutes to make it up there. I don't think that's gonna happen. Let's go for 11:30 if I hustle. This kind of stuff is my favorite. Right at about 13,000 feet. A lot of fun, keeps you engaged. I post-holed earlier. Yeah, I do see one more snow traverse right here. It looks like a lot of people have been across it, so hopefully I can just step in footprints. So the snow is getting a little soft. Could almost use my snowshoes that I have on my pack that I have not used the entire trip. We'll see on the way back down. Better than it being icy because the angle of this slope, it's not bad, but it's icy. It would suck to slide down that. Look at this view. Looking out east. Colorado Springs and Denver are buried in clouds. All right, I'm just about to the summit. Been following these cairns here. It's been pretty much looking like this. Taking a lot longer than I thought. I said 11:30, it is now 11:57. One of the things I try to stick to is getting to and getting off a summit by noon if there's weather. So I'm getting to a summit by noon, which isn't too bad. Gonna go crack a beer at the summit, eat some snacks. And there's a lot of construction going on, but I've made it to the summit. Here we are. This is looking northwest and north. That's looking out towards Denver and Colorado Springs. So we're way out there. Just socked in clouds right now. Cumbre, elevated IPA, delicious. Well, it's just about time to head back down. Here's that view again. A lot of construction, but the clouds on the eastern side of Pikes Peak, looking down, are amazing right now. Leaving the summit, and time to head back down. Getting pretty windy up here and chilly. So I've been wanting to film for a while, but it is very windy. Very windy. All right, today is a special day. Beautiful views, and I'm actually gonna crack a second beer on the way down today. The beer I have for the route down is Sky Kraken. It is from Fremont Brewing out of Seattle, Washington. What else could you ask for? Look at this day. What else would you want? clouds, blue skies, snow, warm weather, sun, and of course, a delicious craft beer. That is so good. This is a hazy pale ale, and it's really good right now. Really cold. Just look at that view. Beautiful. I made it back down the saddle. That's looking towards, that's the peak right there. This basin up here, these meadows are phenomenal. I've made it down. The road was way up on top of that saddle. The weather's deteriorating a little bit, but I made it to the switchbacks. Kind of into tree line. Got some dry trail, which is nice. The trail has melted a little. The back two rubber pieces on my yak tracks broke on each foot, so they're pretty much useless. The ice is melted and just kind of slushy, so it actually isn't hard to walk on. My boots, I took my sock off and I wrung it out and put my boots back on. I don't have winter boots, so they get wet. I love this sound. This is the trail. Kind of hard to find. I've never really had to find a trail in the winter. Well, it's not winter, but I'd find a trail in the snow. And it can be difficult. And there's those cool rocks again on the way down with some clouds behind them now. I made it back to the meadows. These meadows are one of the first things I was supposed to keep my eye out for, and they're very obvious. From here the trail gets a little bit smoother. Take a double track old road from here on out. Still icy down in the trees. We'll see how it is now that it's warmed up this afternoon. Now I am walking entirely in the snow with tons of post holes around me and staying up top for the majority. This route is, oh, there's one. So this route has become just entirely snow the whole way down. It was ice on the way up, but I had my traction on. Crossing the bridge. So that was the road to the old trailhead, and this is to the new. I think it's about a half mile to the trailhead, but then my car is parked 1.3 miles from the trailhead, so it'll still be another probably half hour. So it is 4:30. Let's see if we get to the car by 5. It's been a long day. I left right past 7. Knee was acting up a little bit, so I'm gonna blame that, but also the snow. Just had to really take my time, and man, I'm red. Haven't really looked at this until now. And I know that I have to cross a bridge to get to that parking lot. I think I'm pretty close. Oh, found the bridge. Walking on out. Made it back. Wow, there's that cool rock. Looks like the gate's up ahead. It's an awesome hike, really cool. It's funny, right now I just saw 4 guys walking up this road. It's a little over a mile to the trailhead because this gate is closed. A couple of them had backpacks on, and one of them was carrying a gallon jug of water, and the other had a wrapped in plastic firewood. If you look around us, plenty of firewood. So they said they're just gonna go camp up the night up here. Last few steps here, big day, big day. Ended up being like 18 miles, which is huge. Might be the biggest day I've ever had. I mean, I've backpacked, maybe I've even backpacked 18 miles, but I don't think I gained over 4,000 feet of elevation in that day. But I started at 7:05, 10-hour day, all inclusive. I did have breaks and stuff, but 10 hours from car to summit to car. The weather held up. A little overcast, but I didn't feel one drop of rain. It said 50% chance of thunder. Didn't hear any thunder, but there were ominous clouds. Pikes Peak, big hike. If you come out and do this, be prepared. Big day, bring snacks, bring water, Bring a first aid kit, emergency device for contact, like a GPS or something, just because you never know. I mean, there are normally a lot of people out here, but it's a big area. And here we are. All right, back in the car. That's gonna do it for this hike. It's an awesome trip up Pikes Peak, a butt kicker, but we will see you next time. Have a good one and be safe.